Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to complete the tree bark texture using the hatching technique. Now, we've already gone in and added our first outline. And so now if you have a Q-tip that has already been used with that residue we already have on the Q-tip, we're just going to go in and we're just going to add that into the box. And so here it is. And then we're also going to do this on the outside. And right now you guys probably are having a bit of difficulty seeing, but there is a slight gray color to our box now. And that's good because we know that the whole thing is eventually going to be gray. Now, this is going to be completed using the hatching technique. Hatching technique is just a bunch of lines. This time it's going to be a bunch of curved lines because we can see all of the curvature here. And it's going to be different types of lines. So I like to start at the top. And because this is a tree, I just like to go kind of naturally. And then from here, I start to connect these lines and I go from top to bottom. So right here, going up so that this is slightly darker. So like this. So this is technically the hatching technique. It's just a lot more neutralized because we are using the technique in a slightly different way. And because I know that this line is supposed to be slightly thicker, I'm going to go in with a little more pressure to thicken that guy up. This line is also slightly thicker. That's why we used it first. So I'm going to go in and thicken this one up. Okay. And so right now this is looking slightly darker. Okay. And so what we want to do is everywhere we see a darker area, we want to go in and we want to start including it almost immediately. So like right here, this is slightly darker too. And so right here, we're going to close it up. Right here, this is definitely darker. And so then over here, that one's darker. This one's darker. Right over here we have this one that's slightly darker, so we want to go in. So right now we are starting to build that. And we can also go in with our Q-tip to start kind of smudging this out, to start giving it even more of that look, but we will have to go in slightly darker for some of these lines. So we're gonna go again, we're building them again. It's totally fine. It's the build of value that makes everything look dimensional. Okay, and so we're pretty much going to do this all the way to the end. And so over here, we're just going around. There's that. There's this one. Okay. And so let's take a look. Okay. And so right now from far away, we can't really see a lot of that line work, which is perfect. This is what makes it look more natural. Okay, and so we're just going to do the same thing all the way across. So over here, I'm just going to bring this line all the way down. It is a darker line. So it goes something like this, and then there's one right next to it that kind of starts to do that. And this is the darker one, and then from here we can start adding some more of that line work. So again, this is still hatching. Okay, so this is still hatching. It's just a little bit more carefree right now, and so starting to show you guys in here. It might just be something like this. Okay. So we're starting to get that build. And I do apologize, I'm trying to turn off any of those lights so that we can see it slightly better, but it's just not gonna work. Okay, so from here, this is what we can do. We can now start adding the rest of these hatching lines from this side over here. So we know that they're going to start to curve this way. Then we have a big, so this thick line here. And it gets thicker about here. And so this is what that's looking like. And then so from here, we're going to start bringing them upward. And so each of our hatching lines is going to be the same. And so from here, all we have to do is continue adding the thicker, darker lines for the cross hatching. And so we can do that every single other kind of line that could be done. And so whatever's going to be your darkest value, you might have to go back in and just darken it even more. Now that we're adding the other values, it's possible that we didn't go super, super dark. And so we want to make sure that we have That way, when we start adding the rest of these details, it looks a lot more realistic. It looks dimensional. And not just that, that it looks very similar to the image to the left. And so over here, okay. Something like this. Okay, and so we're starting to get that same look.